Hello everyone, welcome back to Cluster B Milkshake. I'm your host, along with support puppet Mr. Chicken. Yes. Today, we are going to talk about why narcissists are not aware. And this has to do with projection. Yeah, jazz hands. Now, a narcissist and normies project their own unconscious mind into the screen of reality. If you are not aware of your own shadow, you are going to project it onto others and attack, defend against, or destroy that reflection. Okay? Narcissists and most people don't understand their unconscious mind or root cause that's affecting their everyday lives. Now, I'm going to give you some examples, okay? Go ahead and see if you are able to be aware enough to self-reflect, not just on the difficult person in your life, but also yourself, okay? If we're not able to wake up from the unconscious things that we do, we're just going to keep living garbage lives, garbage emotional, psychological lives, okay? So if you have low self-esteem, which narcissists do, but it's hidden, Fridge came to say hello, but it's hidden beneath grandiosity, you're going to hate others for it. You may punish and torment or feel superior and fake empathetic helpfulness and then punish and torment. Okay, so like when I first started my channel as well, I was not a fan of yours, of, people, I'm a victim, because I did not understand what was actually going inside of me, what's going on inside of my unconscious mind, all the different things that I needed to look at and be aware of and understand the root causes and why I think the way that I do, why my brain is the way that it is, and things like that. Okay, so but back in the day, I'd be a fucking bully. I bully people. Now it's a collective healing. We all need, now healing, I don't want you to take healing as the end all be all, like we're all gonna fucking be baptized and then we're gonna walk on water and shit and nobody's ever gonna get upset about fucking nothing no more. Nothing like that, okay? But just bringing more awareness into your life, okay? It's going to make everything better. It's made things better for me, maybe not my relationships, of old, but it does make my everyday life a lot better of not, believing certain things and, hurting the outside world for these things I don't even fucking know that we're there. I know they're there now. I know they're there now. I know they're there now. Okay. If you felt helpless as a child and ashamed of that helplessness, you will attract others who will recreate the same helplessness. You now can blame them for making you feel this way or fight these feelings through them. So you'll be doing the push and pull, I love you, I hate you shit. Okay? But if you do not know this is why I hear people, always say, I always bring narcissists into my life. And then it's like, well, the common denominator is you. So why don't we dissect and look inside of yourself and figure out why the narcissist is attractive. why, and of course, you go into your past, figure out how you were conditioned as a child. What are some things that, the narcissist is basically poking you and saying, hey, you got to work through this shit. You got to work through this shit. And I'm going to torment the fuck out of you until you wake up. Until you wake up. It could be having the strength to tell people, no, you don't get to treat me like this. And leaving situations. Or be like, yeah, unconsciously, I really do like to fight. I really like to push people away who show me any sense of love and care because I don't trust it. And when you wake up and you're just like, oh, that's why I do that shit, then you'll be like, actually, I don't fucking have an answer for that. Okay, because I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. A lot of you guys have admitted that you are attracted to narcissistic people or borderline people or whatever, and that's what you're attracted to. So me telling you, you should never, and you need to go at a very slow pace and do the thing. I ain't fucking telling you that, okay? All right. We'll figure that out later. Okay? We'll figure that out later. All right. Then we have angry people find other human mirrors to smash. This is like the bully, somebody who may not feel, like I said, they have low self-worth. They're feeling a lot of shame about themselves. And so they want to punish the weakness inside of them in others. Okay? And these are the things that we do not know, that are deep inside of us. So you can't go and tell a bully and say, oh, you're probably bullied as a child and that's why you're a bully and blah, blah, blah. They're going to be like, fuck you. Because their grandiosity is protecting them from seeing any of this. Okay? All right. Promiscuous people put themselves in physical or emotionally dangerous situations or use others because they don't value their own selves. Okay? I've watched this borderline channel. It's a great channel. It's called the BPD Bunch. And they actually talked about this too and how they would put themselves in dangerous situations, almost like a masochistic thing. And then they get harmed. Now, these are aware people, and they would get harmed, and now they're telling us it's because they would do that on purpose and then play the victim. Because they had that victim mentality. They had that, abuse me so I can, feel like shit. It's a self-harming thing, okay? And when you realize these things, I would hope that you wouldn't want to put yourself in those situations. But the people who go out and use others, so they're out fucky sucky everything. They're using others. They don't believe that they're hurting themselves. They're going out and projecting that out and hurting others, playing the mind game, making you fall in love with them just to discard you. This ain't no shared fantasy. This is actual malicious behavior. Okay? Sometimes, no, not sometimes, someone who doesn't know what real love is will blame others when the infatuation dies. Because real love is this nice, boring comfort and security. Okay? There's not a bunch of highs and lows. You can get into, your little arguments and stuff, but it's not hate, rage, and everything. It's not crying in a puddle of shit. It's not all this, excitement and chaos. A lot of us grew up in excitement and chaos. abuse, not knowing what you're going to get from one day to the next from somebody, lashing out all the time, all your little child anger and stuff, or people pleasing so you don't get abused. You know what I mean? So same thing. You're going to blame others that you are behaving in the way that you're behaving. And you know, you're going to be fighting and everything. You're going to be saying, oh, you're gaslighting me because you're not validating my feeling. Well, if your feelings are all fragmented, all fucked up, all PTSD'd up and everything, you know, you're going to call people narcissists who are not narcissists. They got their own projections going on too, their own little brokenness. And now I'm not saying that they're, you know, not showing, you know, toxic behavior and everything. But, you know, you guys are playing against each other. You're mirroring each other's behaviors, not projections, okay? Well, some people will mirror as a punishment other people's behaviors. If you do this petty shit, I'm going to do this petty shit back to you. Where does that get you? I've talked to people who have done this, and it's like, they really want the connection. They don't want to be broken up with. And they're on autopilot to punish. And I'll even tell them, please don't do that. Don't. If you want this person back, you're making it worse. Don't fucking do the thing. Hang up, they do the thing. And then they call crying to me. It's like, I fucking told you to. Listen, okay? All right. If someone is afraid of abandonment, they will cause their partner to abandon them. Then blame their partner for being abandoned. Now, I had a caller who was, I don't want to say 100% unaware of his behavior, because he did take some responsibility, but then would get this brain swipey thing and go back into victim mode. And I would have to point out all the things on the timeline. You did this, this, and this to cause this person to be so fucking paranoid that you're going to break up with them, that they broke up with you. And now you're blaming them. You wanted this to happen. You wanted the breakup. So take responsibility for the breakup. But you know that when you break up with, you know, and they're both toxic, but you break up with, you know, your trauma bonded partner and you feel validated in breaking up with them, which you are valid in breaking up with this person. But when you're away, that's when you start gaslighting yourself and second guessing yourself and feeling the actual loneliness and everything, ruminating about the good times with your partner and stuff like that. And then maybe you will start to dissect your mistakes, but sometimes you overcompensate your mistakes to where you're giving them a free pass. In a healthy relationship, both of you guys are going to take responsibility for both your parts, and then you come together. But if it's only one-sided, or only one person, even if you're toxic shit, but if you're always, you know, the one making the mistake and they're fucking clean as snow all the goddamn time, that's not healthy, okay? I'm not saying that every time you fight, it's both of your guys' you know, problem or whatever. It only is if you're reacting and then it's compounding. I've made videos on this shit too, where, you know, they're going to be a shit. They need you to react because they want to fight their mirror, right? They need you to react. Now, if you don't react and everything, it usually will either do two things: diffuse the situation or escalate it, because they really, you know, need the fight. Hopefully you would be with somebody who de-escalates and everything, and you can just let that shit go, because they're not going to want to revisit it. They don't want to look at their shadow. Now, this is the person that you want to be with. So you're going to have to fucking deal with some shit. They're not going to want to talk about it. Okay? All right. Next, sometimes you project your goodness or your fantasies on others. Then attack them for not being who you want them to be. Now, narcissistic people, they will project a fantasy. People who love to fall in love or in love with love. Limerence. You just fall in love with the, image that, this he's going to rescue me, or she's going to take care of all my needs and everything. And you don't see them as who they actually are. You don't take the time. You're like Fast and Furious, all about the, the fantasy, the shared fantasy. And both of you guys have your own script for each other. But besides that, even projecting your goodness. Now, I see people a lot too. You're a solid good person, and bad people are going to take advantage of you and stuff like that. But if you're not aware, if you're not aware, you're going to project your goodness onto this person, which means you're wearing rose-colored glasses for everybody. For everyone. Now, you don't have to judge people and everything. What you're doing is you're having boundaries for yourself. You're aware enough to be like, oh, this is some funky energy, and I'm just going to distance myself. I'm not going to project. I'm not going to attack. I'm not going to destroy. I'm not going to crumble. I'm not going to people please. I'm just going to withdraw my energy. Okay? You're going to do that. But you have to know your own shadow so you don't do the things that I just said that you might be doing. Okay? All right. So go into that dark place inside of yourself. Name the shit that is causing the suffering. If you have suffering in your life, if you're the common denominator in all of this shit going on, it doesn't mean that you're evil or anything, but you need to be figuring out, okay, what is it? Why do I keep bringing these types of energies inside of me, in my life, in whatever? You're going to name those things. You're going to figure them out. You're going to name those things. It doesn't mean that you need to miracle all of them away. That causes you a lot of shame. It causes you to feel like shit about yourself because you think I have to be perfect. I went fucking through this. It sucks. And it keeps you in this pool of shit for a long goddamn time. Excuse me. So accept this shadowy part about yourself. This is something that you, number one, were not aware of. Number two, now you're going to be aware of it. You're going to take responsibility for it. And, you need to forgive yourself. You're going to be aware of your projections now. Okay? You're going to be aware of your projections. One thing that I see a lot during these breakups or, when other relationships in your life melt away and everything like that, you feel just, empty inside. And doing work looking into yourself instead of only looking into the other is going to build yourself back better. You're going to, be aware. Okay? Instead of a fucking robot. Just doing the same fucking thing every day, in and out, not learning a goddamn thing about yourself and being a victim. Remember, being a victim's gross. We don't want to be a victim. Okay? We're surviving this life together. All right? So everyone will suffer less if we learn about these things and understand our projections, withhold the funky projections, or you're going to isolate yourself in the name of peace. I'm not shitting on you if you do that too, because it's a lot easier to be alone. You have nobody to mirror your shadow on to. Okay? So, great. But I will shit on you if you go blaming the world, your fucking mirror, to why you are not going to communicate with the outside world. Own it. I don't want to deal with these mirrors. I don't want to deal with my shadow that I'm seeing in everybody. And it's like, cool. All right. But you make excuses. I'm going to point them out. I don't care. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Have a great day. Namaste.